we kind of lean into it like we're going in the middle of a conversation. We were just kind of surprised by the fact that there's a microphone in front of us. But like, I had so much false hope because I was really like, we know this is going to be painful, but I'm hoping that there's going to be like some little like specks of light buried somewhere along in this process. And I'll be able to hold on to those and it will guide me through the darkness of this assignment. And needless to say, I instead was kept in the dark, walked into the wall, fell over all the furniture in the room, and broke my ass.
Yeah, I think that's pretty universal amongst the three of us. I think we have 3 broken asses from this assignment.
I am currently, I brought tea with me up to this particular podcast episode because I did not want to mistakenly be mistaken for Mr. Kroger as we go through this. My voice might get quite hoarse as emotions fly.
Well, we are going to, if Mr. Kroger does not give it away, then consider yourself lucky, first and foremost.
Enjoy your rock.
Actually, you should enjoy the only decent music we're going to have on this episode of the Fairly KickAss podcast.
It's whose idea was this part?
Whose idea was this anyway? To be fair, who?
I don't remember.
So I came up accidentally with the idea, and y'all kind of expanded on it from there. So just a quick rewind: we had a Someone's episode a while back. You can check your Spotify list to find that. I did some things with Metallica. It's not important. The important part is that I picked out one song for every album that Metallica did as a bit, because it's what I do. Fast forward to now, when we have decided to kind of make that into a backdoor pilot to an entire episode that I think for right now we're calling Greatest Shits.
Sure. Although backdoor pilot sounds like a Nickelback song, so maybe we go with that.
Damn it.
It really does.
Basically, you had a good idea. We agreed it was a good idea. And then through the process of brainstorming, we drug it down into the sewer.
You know, where we live.
Yeah,
where we live. Like some really awful Ninja Turtles. That's what we are.
So let's see. If you weren't picking up on the vibe here, what we're going to do is go through the studio album career of one Nickelback and try to put together a true greatest hits album, one song from each records for 10 tracks. And I have no idea how well this is going to work. I have no idea how well this is going to sound at the end. But if you suffer through this, well, okay, we do the suffering, but if you laugh at us throughout the course of this album, the only decent thing you could possibly do is to go over to fairlykickass.com, where you'll find the playlist, and you get to have some, just 10 little songs of pain, that's all.
10 little songs. It's easy. It's literally the best that every album has to offer from the three of us.
What's a half an hour of torture between friends? I mean, honestly.
Oh, so much torture. Chad and his brother Mike shares some of this responsibility. This didn't have to happen. You didn't have to have this band that got super widely popular, that was beloved the world over, and forcing us to do this thing that we have done and that we'll never be able to undo. There's no Control Z here.
I do question the idea of most beloved band. And that sounds like a dick thing to say, but I would like to point this out, is that, we have this conversation and they have sold apparently more than 50 million albums worldwide. But gentlemen, do either of you know someone that owns a Nickelback album?
Yes.
No, thank goodness.
So 1 out of 3.
I mean, lest y'all forget that I was deeply ingrained in the butt rock industry for a good long while.
Yes, I understand that you might have a different perspective than the general public, though.
That's fair.
Wait,
I just know those are the same fans, though.
Okay. Touche.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried that you were going to say that you were actually the one that you were referring to.
I do own a Nickelback album, believe it or not. We'll get into that in a moment, but I do own, actually I own 2 Nickelback albums.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I was going to say,
Oh, I'm excited.
I think if I dig around, I might have Silver Side Up somewhere.
That's one of the 2.
It's the one to have
It's
if you're going to have
if you're going to have one.
I have the one before it as well.
Yeah, we'll discuss why those are objectively the 2 best Nickelback albums as we get into it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking
objectively.
Yeah. So let's try to figure this out. So let's start with their first full-length studio album from all the way back in May of 1996. The Only Way to Describe Curb, which for some fucking reason was released 3 separate times. Its original release in 96, it got put out again in 99 and again in 2002. And I hate everything about the particular labels that did that. But I think the best way to describe it absolutely is a record of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this record is 1996 rock personified.
Yes.
I would say the best and the worst, but there's not really a lot of best to go around here. It's mostly the worst.
No, and I know we keep promising a conversation about genre and labels and why they don't work. And I've been won over by several explanations, but if one wanted to apply the sticker of post-grunge to any album, to whatever that description is, it would be Curb.
Yeah. It that is a very good description of it. Like, hey, if you want an example of a hastily thrown together post-grunge example, like this is a sample of post-grunge.
Yes.
Yeah, this belongs in like a time capsule and not on Spotify.
It's a demo masquerading as a finished track.
That's so
like
true.
like the whole thing.
Yeah, agreed. There are multiple times you're listening at it and going, did you mean to mix the drums apart from the bass? Like a half a beat? Did you mean to do that?
Nowadays, that would be like a stylistic choice. Back then, I have a hunch it wasn't.
I don't know. They did it again on a few songs on the next record, so it may have been a decision made.
Yeah,
fair.
I shouldn't sell them long, I guess, as it were.
Listen, I love the fact that the Canadian government like puts money toward the arts. I think they made a mistake here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have funded this one if I was. I would have put it someplace else. So let's get the party started. And Jay, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you would put on the Greatest Shits album from this record?
Well, in the bleak, indistinguishable wasteland that is Curb, I would pluck Where out of the grime. Mostly because Chad actually attempts to do something melodic on that song. It comes across as a hiccup more so than an actual vocal choice, but it's easy for me. It is the like accidental crown jewel of the record.
I felt very similar to you. I actually went with a different track, but for very similar reasons. Like for the entirety of this album, it sounds like Chad Kroeger is trying to pry the lid off of a particularly stubborn jar of pickles. And I was trying to find the one track that had the least amount of that, and ended up with Falls Back On. I think it was the best track, kind of exactly what you said, Jay. It's like accidentally the best track on the album for me. I don't think it was due to any particular effort, but it got there.
And interestingly enough, I would say pretty much the same thing, just about Detangler. It feels like it's maybe not the accidentally best, but it's the accidentally most put together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
one album in, we already have 3 different tracks.
Yeah. So let's put this one off to the side and come back to Curb. How's that? Let's if we can't get an agreement immediately, let's come back to it and do whatever it is that we have to do to come to one song.
I like it.
If we must.
We gotta do something here. And that includes moving 2 years forward to September 1st, 1998, where The State was self-released again. And I have to ask, after these two, listening to these 2 records all the way through, second, again, another record that in a huge money grab got re-released twice in the subsequent years. Fucking why? But second, I have to ask the legitimate question here, because the state doesn't show a whole lot of advancement as artists. So after listening to these two albums, I have no idea how or why they received a major record label contract, because these albums are mostly slop with a few solid ideas swimming in the morass.
So I mean, I can give an actual reason and then what I hope the reason is. But for starters, I would say the multiple releases is because it was a Canada only release at first. And that's actually why Curb got a later release too. It's because then it was released in the States and then again globally. But
doesn't make it right.
I didn't say it did. I'm just there's an explanation there.
Touche.
As far as the state goes, what I feel about it is there's actually some songwriting on this record. Whereas the first one just feels like he grunted it out, like just that whatever happened in the moment is what happened. This one, there's actually some songwriting, and I appreciate the guitar work on the state, more so than on any of their other, and I mean any of their other records. I can appreciate the guitar work on the state.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a polished record. It certainly doesn't have the layer that future records would have, but it does have, like you said, it is almost charming in some of its aspects.
If you were to kind of differentiate between the two, it sounds like Curb was recorded because like they won like 10 hours in a local studio at a battle of the bands, so they had 10 hours to hammer all this stuff out. And with the state, they could afford like a full 2 weeks and maybe some mastering. Like they had the time to actually go back and do things like polish up the guitars a little bit and maybe look at Chad and go, that doesn't make sense grammatically or psychologically. Rewrite that line.
I mean, considering that their very first EP, even before Curb, only came around because they got a loan. Chad Kroeger's stepdad gave him a loan of $4,000, which $2,000 of that went towards the album, and the other $2,000 went to mushrooms. Like that's the level that we're working with here.
I mean, at the very least, they were doing rock and roll from the beginning, so you have to give them that, I suppose.
You will give them. They are rockers.
Yeah, I have very little complaint about the methodology here.
Yes,
it's more to do with specifically with the content. And in this case, I don't dislike the content much. Like I certainly don't like every song on the record. Don't get me wrong, but there's at least a few that I can still listen to, and at least one that I have performed fairly recently.
Is that a song you would pick for our record?
It is, but I can exceed that. There's a backup, so we can probably land on a decision here. So the one I would pitch as the one that to me is the best song on the record is Leader of Men. It's got a decent melody. The lyrics don't suck, and I enjoy singing it, which is saying something for this catalog.
Yeah, totally agree with both the song and the points that you made there. I did mention with the lyrics, it doesn't sound completely inane, which is not something that you can say about the vast majority of this discography, but you can say it about Leader of Men. So yeah, 100% in agreement there.
Complete transparency here. My enjoyment of Leader of Men was multiplied when I learned that it was written on said mushrooms, and a good number of its lines are about the process of tripping balls.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still a relatively bland track.
It's 3 chords over and over again.
Yep. But it's competent. It doesn't like venture outside of the lines on the post-grunge coloring book page, but did I mention the thing about the shrooms?
They have a type.
They have a type. And apparently so do we.
You agreed on that one?
Yep.
Yeah. The only other acceptable answer to me was Breathe, and that is because it is one of the few tracks. It is the only track up to that point on in their catalog. And granted, it's the first track on the record, but where the guitars and the drums line up.
Right.
And the guitar part is really good. Yeah. And the drum part is really good. So like no notes on that one either, except the lyrics are back to that inane thing, but that's fine.
We take what we can get in this discography.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Despite the fact that they had 2 suck-ass records under their belt, the state went gold in Canada and nearly went gold in the U.S., and that was enough to attract attention from, Roadrunner, which I guess was through Warner. Either way, they made their major label debut on the worst day that you possibly could have, make your major label debut, and Silver Side Up was released on September 11th, 2001.
Yep.
I'm not going to make any tasteless jokes. Just you do what you want with that one.
Yeah, I do think that it's a very interesting list of albums that came out on that day. Maybe it's something that we'll look at in a future episode.
No.
But yeah, this is the one that everyone knows. This is the introduction for the vast majority of people to Nickelback. You know, as far as the singles, even some of the non-single tracks were ones that still got, you know, some semblance of radio airplay or some semblance of visibility above and beyond the singles themselves. So yeah, definitely a meteoric album in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good necessarily, which we'll get into, but it was definitely meteoric.
And here's the thing, I do own this one, and there are a couple of tracks on it that I can still listen to without hating myself.
Yes.
Yeah, it is the first polished record. Everything lines up. It's all well recorded. And I was torn actually on this one. I had two. But I will put forward the song Too Bad as the best track on the record.
Very nice. I hate that I went with the obvious choice, but I did go with the obvious choice, which is How You Remind Me, because it is unironically a bop.
Yeah.
It is truthfully my second favorite song, probably behind Leader of Men in this entire discography. It's the most sing-alongable song in this entire discography. It's one of those that just doesn't have to be good. It's just fun. The production helps that a lot. I'm not going to lie, but it is a fun song. And yeah, it definitely was the best of the best, or the best of the worst, as it were, for this album.
I mean, sometimes the popular songs are popular for a reason. Look, that's their signature hit. How You Remind Me is how they got their fans. Almost all of them, and it's probably the best song they wrote over their career. No explanation needed. So if you know the name Nickelback, you know How You Remind Me. Well, either that or the fucking photograph meme.
But kudos to you if you only know it from the meme.
Yeah, actually, you're better off there.
Sure. But I'm not going to gainsay that one. That was my second choice. I think Too Bad's a better song in a vacuum, but I do have, like, you know, that single dropped the summer beforehand. Mm-hmm. And I have vivid memories of four of us in a hatchback going to the mall and screaming this song at the top of our lungs with the windows down. So I have no complaint about that being the song.
The 1990s in a nutshell. That's so awesome.
Mall, hatchback, check and check.
Yeah. Post-grunge.
One other thing, just quickly, I wanted to point out is the song Just For. Like you mentioned, Dan, how whole albums were re-released. This song was re-released. This originally was on Curb and was re-recorded for Silver Side Up. And is better. The Silver Side Up version is better. It just was an interesting choice to just take that one song from an early album and just put it on Silver Side Up for who knows why.
My guess it was a label decision. They needed one more song on the record.
Which, I mean...
I've done that too.
There were that means they only had 9 songs for that album, and they were like, "You do need, in fact, one more."
Interesting. Today we learned. I guess we should learn about the next album up for bids here.
This was a long road.
Yes, it was. Which came out nearly 2 years to the day, September 20th, 2003. And we got us more of stuff. Go ahead. I don't know what else. Like,
honestly, I feel like this album completely, and probably everything henceforth, suffered completely from the success of How You Remind Me, where like they finally hit this formula. This worked. This is all we're going to do from here on out. Bite me.
Yeah, almost defiantly, right? Like flying in the face of evolution of a band.
Right. Like, what do you mean I have to write something?
I mean, imagine.
One of the singles from the record, I thought, was hands and feet above everything else on the record, and that would be Someday, where it's at least still fun to sing along to it.
Yeah, I would not at all be mad at Someday being the song. I did go a slightly different direction just because it was the one song that sounded unlike the other songs on the album, and that to me was the bar. That was enough, and that was Another Hole in the Head. It is lyrically is whatever, musically is whatever. I think Someday is probably the more entertaining song. I think that Another Hole in the Head is the better song of the two, but would not at all be mad if Dan, you ended up going with Someday if that ends up being our pick.
I didn't.
Which one did you go with?
I'll help that one. I grabbed Because of You because it was the actual heaviest thing I had heard in like all of my listing up to this point. And I am a fan of the slight change of lanes, like the phrases and the chords of the bridge and chorus to make it clear that it's a Nickelback song. That part wasn't going to drift away, but I could see it was the first one that I heard that I could see the verses being done by another rock band of the era, and that's good enough for me. And there was also no way I was going to nominate Someday.
but we're gonna make it all right, just not right now.
Yeah.
There's Exhibit A.
I will say that at this point it was right about this record. I made a note of it right about this record that I started saying that the most frequent thought that I've had over the last 4 albums is, "Hey, Chad, what key is the song in?" Because like he doesn't seem to care or know or is able to find it like at all throughout all of that. Someday at the very least the guitars matched his key. Which is my only defense. It's my only defense of the song.
I'm sure, I guess.
Yeah, we might have to circle back on that. We might have to table this.
Yeah, definitely. Can you write something and drop B?
Yeah.
I assume it's a possible thing because that's kind of, I don't know. That's sort of, I don't have the perfect ear, but that sort of seems like the direction we were going with.
Well, we went in a number of directions on the on their 5th album. Perhaps not, despite the name, perhaps not for all the right reasons.
No. Instead, well, and honestly, I don't know if we're going to be unanimous here as well as we get to what is still the band's best-selling record, having gone 7 times platinum in Canada, 3 times platinum in the UK, and diamond in the US for reported 11 million sales.
Christ.
As you mentioned, All the Right Reasons from October of 2005. 7 singles off of this record. There's only 11 tracks on the fucker.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you listeners and us, I mean, we know all 7 of those tracks. I'm fairly certain.
At least 3 of them.
Totally.
2 would be ubiquitous. 3 would be nearly that, and then the other 4 would probably be on that road as well. Having performed 2 of those songs on stage, I can succinctly deny their approval for this list. I did come up with a 3rd one that I thought was interesting, mostly for the bargain bin Pantera worship that came out of the guitar solo. Let's say the beige radio ready sludge pile of this album was saved by the attempt at a dime bag solo in Side of a Bullet.
Yeah, I went with I had written down Follow You Home, but specifically because I wanted to point out that was absolutely not my choice. And I would be remiss if I didn't call out one of, if not the most fucked songs of a discography that has more than a few of them, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I have a nominee for the worst song in their catalog, by the way. We haven't hit it yet.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Okay, let's go.
I'm excited. There are so many of those to choose from too.
Yeah.
But I did end up going with If Everyone Cared. And I wrote down just performed by a different artist and with somewhat different instrumentals and lyrics. This could have been a beautiful song. And again, from the body of work we're working with, like almost a perfect or a beautiful song with a few alterations is pretty high praise for them.
You're saying if this song had been done by Three Doors Down, it wouldn't suck quite this bad.
I hate that the answer is yes. I hate that the answer is yes to that question.
Yeah.
That was one of those songs that I did hear. I was like, oh, that would be better as a Three Doors Down track.
Oh,
that is not a thought that most people have ever had.
I don't hate Three Doors Down. Again, it's the world I lived in for a long time, and they're not terrible.
I understand. I'm against them for the most part.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, after that, I would say this is probably a cop-out, though. But I think, because it's still one of their biggest hits off a record that has their biggest concentration of hits. But I went with Saving Me. I went with the solid ballad-ish track. Gets a few bonus points for the Dante's Inferno reference. And while we're at it, Rockstar can fuck off into the sun.
That's what I thought you were going to say. That's why I was shaking my head in anger. I was like, you better not.
God, no. Not even for funsies would I do that. Look, I know what they're trying to do. The only good Rockstar Woe Is Me track that has ever been written and will ever be written is Life's Been Good by Joe Walsh.
That's a good one.
No one will ever match that level of sarcasm that just drips out of the speakers.
Yeah.
Hey, fucking man. It is an abhorrent song. It is terrible. It was one of my honorable mentions, and it is absolutely awful.
I don't know if that means you're being sarcastic or that is literally like tier 2 because everything else is below that.
I would say Rockstar and Animals are in the same boat for me. With that 15-year-old sense of humor.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, he. It's not where I was kissing. Anyway, if for the sake of not having to come back here, I will agree and throw my weight behind Saving Me.
Same. It was my other honorable mention. So
I appreciate the let's do this just so we don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah. No. I can get behind that one.
Thank you. And at the same time, can we also agree that somehow Chad Kroeger singing about sex is actually less sexy than Maroon 5 singing about sex?
Oh, God.
Like, Adam Levine's texts are somehow sexier than literally everything Chad Kroeger has written about sex.
Okay. New game. Chad Kroeger, Adam Levine, Pat Monahan. Go.
No. I abstain.
No, and no. Like if this was your attempt at kill. As I say, I wouldn't go with kill, but I would go with the individual treatment would be a permanent crushing of their writing hand and multiple karate chops to the throat.
But more, I was thinking more like I would read a lyric and you have to decide which of those artists said it.
Oh, now all of a sudden you have gold.
Yes. Sign me up.
If you put that game together, we will play immediately.
I'm jotting that in our chat so we don't forget. Did we just get a new segment idea for 2025? I think we did.
Oh my God, don't do that, please.
Adam,
it could be a fun game or a devastating game.
Both.
What we have left in this episode isn't going to be any better than that idea. So
yeah, sorry, I had an idea and then I had to do that anyway. So we move on, please.
Can we accidentally talk about Katy Perry instead?
Honestly, I thought about it. Like, can I just nominate her instead? Because of the ridiculousness, also, by the way, of the same of two artists doing the exact same thing, releasing a piece called Dark Horse after they had become literally the biggest band or the biggest artist in their respective genre.
Yep.
You are not a dark horse.
Nope.
As to quote somebody, you're not the underdog, you're the fucking Yankees.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will also point out that this record has what is probably my least favorite lyric in their entire catalog, seething with anger upon hearing the line, "You'd look so much cuter with something in your mouth," like seething with anger at that line.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, that is the whole song is fucking awful, but
yeah.
Jesus
And that's
Christ.
the main hook. So
Yeah.
there you go.
The lowest of the low.
But not the worst song in their catalog. We haven't gotten there yet.
The suspense. I love it.
Yeah, I'll just keep building it for a while. So here's the thing. For me, the song to choose from Dark Horse was more like getting wasted, turning around and throwing a dart backwards at a board, because there wasn't a good song on this record. Like, not even one that I could pretend was good. So the song I picked was I'd Come For You, because it seemed to me like he had like maybe like a single moment of sincerity in him when he wrote that one. And that's all I felt for the entirety.
Yeah, I think it was another case where we were of the same wavelength as far as what we went with. We just ended up going with different songs for the same reason. I went with If Today Was Your Last Day, specifically because it sounded like maybe an attempt to be like semi-meaningful, like almost like Tim McGraw's Live Like You Were Dying, but like a slight upgrade to the same. It is very milquetoast, as is, we've already said that a million times, but it was, again, it was to me better than anything else on this entire album. Maybe not leaps and bounds better, but I thought it was the best one.
A dollar store version of Arms Wide Open.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That would be what I could think of that song. And
agreed.
I'm not sure who should be more offended by that.
Let's just offend both of them and call it a day.
Fair. I like it. They both deserve it.
Because I've also got to be honest, I think I picked Gotta Be Somebody because it had the catchiest chorus on the record.
Yeah.
And that's literally it. Like, I tried to find something, and that was it. Like, oh, it's catchy. But I did find a quote from Billboard that kind of sums up sort of where they sat in the industry. And again, remember, this was early 2008 when this record was early or late. I'm sorry. It was late 2000, November of 2008 when this record is released. If you were alive in that period, you'll know why that was a thing. But Billboard wanted us to believe that, quote, the bulletproof Nickelback provides affordable fun that promises good returns in hard times, end quote. And I never want Billboard to review another album again in the history of ever.
I can't formulate a thought to respond.
I can't either.
Nope.
That's exquisite.
Yeah.
But,
so coming back to track 6.
So you said "Gotta Be Somebody," Dan, was your choice.
Yeah.
I would go with that. That was one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
so.
mine too.
I enjoy that our content here is less for the sake of argument, because that's always fun to hear people yell at each other at this one. But I don't want to come back and have to discuss this album again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and as I pointed out, like, I didn't really choose my choice for that record.
That's what I said. Like, I was very for against just about everything on that record.
I was very against just about everything on that record.
I mean, it was there. That's basically the way. That's how I felt about the whole discography, honestly. And I specifically, I don't know. Again, just a quick side view before we move on to album number 7 from November of 2011. But I specifically tried to space out my listening because
I did too.
I knew what we were listening to, and that if you just try to sit and like mainline Nickelback albums, you are going to hear the same song for like 11 straight hours.
Yeah, it just becomes a melange, sort of.
Yes, it all becomes a blur. And I didn't want to do that because it was like I wanted to be able to actually make a selection and have a reason to make the selections. And despite that, there are several records, and this is the area that we're entering, so that I made a pick, and I barely had any reason why.
Yeah, the last 4 albums of this the next 2 albums of this discography are fairly interchangeable.
Yeah.
There is one of the remaining 4 that is an outlier for reasons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we moved to, as I mentioned, November of 2011, and Here and Now.
Yeah.
7th studio album, their last on Roadrunner Records before they decided, I believe, to just do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have things and I have a quote. But Jay, do you have a song?
Oh, I do. And so this whole album felt like platitudes. Let's call them platitudes, because I was just going to say shit, but let's call them platitudes. And like Hallmark card platitudes, like not even like good ones that were clever at one point. They had a couple of laughable attempts at social content on this record, and most of it was like sleepwalking through a PSA. And the song I chose is no different, but it stands out as the best out of this chunk because it sort of pretends to have, or at least other people pretended that it had more purpose beyond the usual Nickelback sludge. So I went with We Stand Together because both the WWE and I think a boxer, I can't remember his name, used it as their like WWE used it as a tribute to the troops thing. And then the boxer named Lucian Butte, I don't know who that is, but apparently he enjoyed it as well for the same reason. So I went with that one.
Nice. Mine is also platitudes. Don't get me wrong, but it at least has a story. It has actual meaning behind it, which is maybe a first in this entire discography. And that was Lullaby. The story was that as Chad and Mike's babysitter when they were kids had lost her boyfriend in a motorcycle accident, and Chad and Mike had both kind of came in and saw her just like sobbing on the bed and realized what happened and wrote a song about it, I don't know, 30, 40 years later or whatever. The meaning certainly gets a little lost over time, but at least it's an attempt to be meaningful. It's an attempt at something more so than with something in your mouth, as Jay, had most unfortunately pointed out earlier. So yeah, that's why I got my nod.
I have too much to say about this, but I would like to add something, as you pointed out that when We Stand Together, Lucian Butte walked out to for one of his fights, and it was an IBF super middleweight title defense he made against Carl Frosch in England in May of 2016. And in that fight, he suffered his first defeat in his career, taking a TKO in the 5th round.
Oh no!
Can we blame Nickelback for that?
Nickelback directly lost this man the IBF super middleweight title.
Cool.
Way to go, Nickelback, jerks.
That's a feather in the cap.
Yeah, jerks. So let me just read what I had wrote, because I said I have a quote. But at this point, I was also begging to hear something different from the band. Like, please, just take a chance, switch up your style, even for just a song. And then I hit Lullaby, and I was stunned by their attempt to become Coldplay. It's not a terrible. It's not a terrible attempt, honestly. I mean, it hits harder than Coldplay, especially Coldplay of 2011. But like, it was another solid ballady track. Apparently, it had meaning, which I didn't bother to go look up. The writing is nowhere near a masterpiece, but given the source, I mean, that's pretty well done. And the thing that I wanted to throw out here about this record, though, and I do not know this website, so I do not know if this was just a nobody that gets thrown out there that gets cited, but Canadian music and entertainment website Rockstar Weekly was quoted about Here and Now, and they called it far and away the best Canadian album of 2011, which honestly is highly offensive to like Feist and Emerson Drive and the Waylon Jennings, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Drizzy. This piece of shit was put up over Take Care.
Wow. Take Care was a great album.
I would put Marvin's Room up against every single track on Here and Now, and Marvin's Room would blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's not close. Yeah, that's a take. That is a hefty take. Canadian whatever and whatever.
It was wrong in 2011, and it's wronger in 2015.
I I feel like the only defense I can say is that it was like Rockstar something magazine or whatever, and that was the only rock record you listed. So maybe
I literally okay. To be fair, I literally just looked up a list of records released by Canadian artists in 2011 and picked out some artists that I would know and went, oh no, there's no way even their worst record was better than this.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm with you. This record was ass, but I feel like there has to be another rock record from Canada that year that would beat it, and then there's not even an argument.
Yeah, we only need one.
We only need one, but I'm not very versed in who was Canadian at the time.
That was amazing.
Okay, I mean, let's see. I mean, I'm just looking at the list. I'm trying to go through here, and honestly, I mean, Catherine Calder had put out a solo record that year.
Oh, which one was that?
Bright and Vivid.
Yeah, that was a great album.
See, Cowboy Junkies.
There you go.
Demons would blow this out the water.
Yep.
But honestly, and again, can't believe I'm saying this, but Justin Bieber's Christmas record blows this one out the water.
It was not the Christmas record I was going to go with. I was going to go with the Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé Christmas.
Yeah.
Take your pick, either one.
That is a rock album.
That is the rock album we needed.
All right, so we're going with Lullaby is what we're saying.
I think
let's go with Lullaby.
Cool.
I think so.
I'm in.
Believe it or not, he took a big break. It took nearly 3 years to put together their next record, and you listened to No Fixed Address, which dropped in November of 2014, and went, you guys took 3 years to write that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do at least have to give them that much, that like the longest hiatus they had between albums was like somewhere between 4 and 5 years. So at least they've had a lot of output. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's something at least.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, yeah, this album sucked.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Sucks doesn't begin to cover it. And I have 2 songs to mention from this one because we have finally hit the worst song in their catalog. But I'll give my actual pick first, and that is because there's a featured artist that saves it for about 30 seconds. And that's Flo Rida, which is saying, coming from me, I do not like Flo Rida either. So this is saying something, but he saves this record for about 30 seconds, and that song has got me running around.
Flo Rida saved the record. Like, when would you ever in your life have thought that sentence would come out of you?
Literally no one has ever said that sentence out loud.
Nope. Well, that may not be true, because I think anybody who listened to this record would have been thinking it at the very least.
Yes. Probably.
I did at least one.
Wait. Is this the part where you treat us to the worst song in their catalog?
I can, unless you want to go through and pick our song first, and then I'll say it. Just on the off chance that y'all picked it as your song.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for.
No, if you picked it, you definitely deserve the shame, because She Keeps Me Up is easily, and I mean without question, the worst song in their catalog. Listen, okay, I get you. If you picked it, I have a feeling you're going to say it's because they tried something different. Yeah, they did. It's ass funk. It is the worst, like Fremunda funk that they could have come up with. It is undigestible.
Absolutely incredible. Oh, if I may just real quickly read what I have written for this album. I said, a crossroads. A shit song, but a completely different sound to everything else in their discography. But that sound is Maroon 5. Sorry, She Keeps Me Up. You had such promise. I went with Make Me Believe Again instead, but Jesus Christ, She Keeps Me Up was an absolute train wreck.
I had to put one train wreck on there, didn't I?
Listen, we've got like 8 train wrecks and 10 songs, so let's.
That's fair.
So I like the fact that you nailed it, as I literally wrote, interesting to see them try something different and actually incorporate funk-ish and disco-ish into their stuff. It's different, than that counts for something. I don't have to put it in the disgusting bin of Chad Kroeger trying to write about sex because he was actually writing about cocaine, which would make sense, as anyone who's taking cocaine would be the only way that the song makes sense. The only other point I'd point out is that this song might be the only reason that Gen Z and or Alpha know Nickelback, which is good for the rest of us probably, because it was a TikTok trend for a while.
Of course it was. Why does that not surprise me?
Wait, but I'm torn though, because how can something that introduces Nickelback to the next generation be a good thing?
I didn't say it was a good thing.
Fair enough.
This is the bar that we are working with. I had to dig under the floorboards for this one. Just looking at this, like, I'm gonna let the two of you, when we come back, the two of you can have it out. The only thing I was gonna say was I was ready to throw things if someone tried to say Edge of Revolution, because Never has a song
God, no.
about trying to be revolutionary. First off, it's hilarious that concept is coming out of Nickelback, and second, it sounds like the worst of like conspiratorial talk coming out and set to, I don't know, like the rejections from Pro Tools demo mode.
Every single one lands. I love them.
I haven't done one in a while. I just had to give it a shot.
Yeah.
We'll return to track 8. Track 9, though, we needed to get to. Feed the Machine, coming out in June of 2017. You know, they this one took a little while longer because Chad Kroeger needed to have a cyst removed from his vocal cord. Nothing inherently funny about that. But this is what they came back with.
Yep.
Yep.
They sure did.
That they did. The other interesting part is this. I mean, we were at the point now where their mainstream success, where they were actually like hitting in the Hot 100 and had the mainstream recognition, is gone. Like, everyone now at this point in 2017, everyone knows Nickelback because of How You Remind Me and Rockstar and Someday,
being the butt of every rock music joke,
and being climbed down by every rock band for a generation. Yeah. They're still going, which, to their credit, they didn't need to. It's not like they needed the money at this point.
You could have found them on tour in 2025 with Kid Rock if you wanted to. I don't know why you would.
Want to find a way to burn those words out of the air.
I think it was like the Something Patriots tour or something. I don't remember. So like maybe firing rockets at it. I don't know. You know, the rockets' red glare and shit. No, this album was, let's call it Nickelback's sneering descent into frat boy envy rock. That's what I wrote.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
And I picked a song that was so drenched in petty resentment that it was so ugly that it became memorable. Like, okay, so the song is It Must Be Nice, right? And the whole thing feels just like, you know, the drunk guy at the bar yelling about his richer, cooler ex-roommate. And for that reason, I felt like it at least was memorable. A lot of cheap shot nastiness going on there. Not clever nastiness, don't get me wrong, but nastiness nonetheless.
Yeah, I think where you saw the kind of frat rock side of things, I almost saw like an album that, and maybe Must Be Nice was part of this too, an album that was trying to make the vaguest statements about the vaguest concepts that it possibly could in the vaguest terms, so that you didn't really know what they were trying to say, but you knew it had some heft behind it. Gosh darn it. And an album that was chock full of basically Edge of a Revolution over and over again. That same similar vibe played out across several different tracks. It's like, I need something that is not that. I need something that just doesn't have any lyrics. The Betrayal Act 1 thankfully saved me because it is an instrumental track. And for that reason alone, it was my pick. It was actually a very cool, good sounding instrumental track. I'm not going to lie. But it was nice to not hear Chad Kroeger for an entire 2 minutes and change.
Yeah.
I was here for it.
I'm sorry. I got a little distracted in looking up that tour.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't while we were on the thing because it's less than palatable.
Did you find it?
I did. They just wrapped up back in July.
That's what I
A
thought.
festival for we the people rock the country.
Yeah. I knew it was something like that.
Headlined by Kid Rock and Nickelback with Hank Williams Jr., Leonard Skinner, Travis Tritt, Aaron Lewis.
Oh, good.
Big and Rich, Lee Greenwood.
Can I just say fuck Lee Greenwood right here now?
Yes,
so no one
absolutely.
wonders what my stance is on Lee Greenwood. Fuck the hell out of Lee Greenwood. We'll just put it out there.
Ready for the bottom, the small print at the bottom of this lineup.
Yeah, let's hear that.
House Party Sets. House Party Sets by Afro Man, the Yin Yang Twins, Rehab, and DJ Silver.
I'm confused as to why Afro Man's on that list.
No idea whatsoever.
I met him and he's cool. Did he just not know what he was signing up for?
I'm
Maybe needed a check.
So.
I'm sure he's probably doesn't have his phone ringing off the hook to book him. So
Yeah.
I guess for what it's worth. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Super yikes.
Also, I'm super not going to argue about putting an instrumental track on this list.
Honestly, I'm not going to either because I wrote very little about the Betrayal Act 3, considering it's got some intensity. It's got some 30 Seconds to Mars vibes while being one of the better written tracks from the band, period, because it has a story.
Yeah.
And it's told well. Got a good solo. But yours has the advantage of no Chad.
Yeah, as well, and I would say so the Betrayal Act 3 has a little bit of the benefit of having been partially written by the drummer, Dan Adair.
Right.
And I think I don't know this for sure, but what I was looking, I only saw 2 tracks that gave him a writing credit, and they're both on that record.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at either one.
I think I would have to give the nod to the instrumental at this point.
Yep, let's do it.
We have to give our listeners a respite as they're listening to the ride along playlist. We have to give them a respite.
That's true.
Well, here's the thing: the ride is almost over.
It is almost
Thankfully.
over. Well, but then we have to circle back.
We have to circle back for a couple.
Yeah.
That's true, but maybe we'll catch one break here to their latest, their 10th, and if we're lucky, the last Nickelback record put out in November 2022. It's called Get Rollin'. It's a thing. I just the story behind, literally the story behind the single, the lead single, the only song anyone's ever heard of off this album, was literally just that Kroeger met the warden at San Quentin. And so the phrase San Quentin was stuck in his head. So he wrote a song about San Quentin. I don't know if that's how the creative process works for everyone, and I suppose that's not fair to mock it, but that's it.
I mean,
I mean, it's fair to mock it. It's fair to mock all of this. I would say, it's to me, and I don't remember where I read this, but something said that when doing the album Get Rollin', Chad really was he had a desire to do something like Slayer covers or something heavier. And what came out of that was this concept of, we rock so hard, we're so badass, they're going to send us to prison. And that's stupid. That is literally and figuratively stupid. So I can't get behind anything involving San Quentin. I really thought it was funny that in an album, after he had said that he wanted to do Slayer covers, they still put a song called Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing on the record. And that's my pick because it is the most shamelessly saccharine track on this record. It's limp. It's drenched in cheap sentiment. It's engineered for like a straight to DVD teen drama montage. And for me, that is like that irony, like that juxtaposition of thought processes made me laugh. And therefore I wanted that. Like, it's the poster of Chad Kroeger as sensitive rock guy.
He has feelings. He has emotions, you know.
As every bad boy has a soft side.
He's sitting at home watching Hallmark Channel grief porn, and like, sorry, that's his next hit. Sorry,
oh my God.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to compare this to Kiss's "God Gave Rock and Roll to You." It was that just terribly pandering to a certain aspect of their fan base. I couldn't nominate that. I was actually trying to find a song worth nominating this time. I had already used up my quota. So I had to keep you serious about it. Sorry, Zach. Go ahead, real quick.
No. I was just gonna say I now regret not choosing Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing because I had the same thoughts that Jay did and left it off my list for those reasons, and now I realize I made a grave mistake.
That's part. What would you nominate? But I think the argument's already been made.
yeah. I don't think that I'm going to be able to top that one. And for the same reason, I should have had San Quentin at an honorable mention. That song is absolute ass.
Garbage.
I did go with Those Days because, at least to me, the album as a whole kind of seemed to harken back to some of the more radio rock of the Long Road, Silver Side Up era. And Those Days is a song about harkening back to one's childhood. And there's a correlation there that there's no chance that Chad Kroeger ever put together up until this moment. But it was there, and I clocked it, and I was like, I'm latching onto this with every fiber of my being. So
I will literally just read what I wrote, and we'll go from there. Get rolling. I'd like to nominate exactly no songs from this record. Many places say this record stands up with the rest of their catalog, which isn't a compliment. I think this record, and my reluctant pick, Standing in the Dark, is the clearest indication that the band is now in their mid-40s and early 50s and have full-on embraced everything that goes with the middle-aged dad trying to hang on and be cool for the kids' sake. I guess Standing in the Dark is fine. It's not terribly written. It's not harsh in a bad way. It even does what passes for jangly for Nickelback. But consider this a nomination in protest, and consider it immediately withdrawn in favor of Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing? And that, unless there is any other better ideas, is how we're going to end this greatest hits record.
100% in on it.
Yep, that's fine.
We have just 3 arguments to solve, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And let's do this with or whatever. And I'm willing to just give in for whatever. We need to go all the way back to Curb and decide, do we add Where? Do we add Falls Back On? Or do we add Detangler?
God.
And mine was weird. I'm totally okay if we pulled it back. But honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between all 3 of our songs. They all sounded the same.
The only reason I can tell the difference is because on Where he does the I was.
And for that reason, I would go with Detangler of the 2.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we're going to make that official?
Yeah, let's do it. That's fine.
That works for me. Then we move all the way up to the Long Road and have to decide between Someday, Another Hole in the Head, and Because of You.
Ooh, I think we ruled out Someday because of...
Yeah, that's fine.
I was not having it.
That's fine.
Yeah. God. Probably.
Dude, I don't feel strongly about either of those tunes.
Neither do I.
I think I would go with Because of You.
Yeah, I think I would too. I hate it.
Okay.
Out of those, I think I would go with that one.
And you know what? It takes my brain to Kelly Clarkson, which is a far more pleasant song to listen to than that one.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then we have to struggle through No Fixed Address, which we have to decide between
Motherfucker.
Got Me Running Around and Make Me Believe Again.
Oh my God.
I told you the two of you can have this.
Thank you for that.
Oh, God.
I don't really have a strong argument.
Yeah,
I will say that Flo Rida felt like a reprieve on the record, but
Agreed.
I really don't like the song's not good. So
No, Mr. Rida pushes it over the edge for me. Good Sir Rida. I am on board with Got Me Running Round. God damn it. This is where we're at with this episode.
This is where
Flo
we're at.
Rida
All right.
is the tiebreaker for the positive.
It's the tiebreaker that
Yeah.
makes this song listenable. Whoo, boy. All right. So let's just make this statement for our greatest shits album for Nickelback.
yeah.
We start with track 1 off of Curb, which is Detangler. Track 2 off of
The State.
Thank you. I can't read my own writing, which was a unanimous call for Leader of Men. The one song I think we can all agree that we actually could stand to listen to one more time after this endeavor.
For sure.
Track 3 comes from Silver Side Up, and that is How You Remind Me, because sometimes you just got to go, you don't fuck with the formula. Track 4 comes from The Long Road, and that is Because of You. Track 5 off of the highly popular All the Right Reasons is Saving Me. We go downhill from here, starting on track 6 from Dark Horse, We Have Gotta Be Somebody. For track 7 comes from Here and Now, and It's a Lullaby. Off of No Fixed Address, we reluctantly give the nod to Mr. Rida and Got Me Running Round. Feed the Machine brings us track 9 and The Betrayal Act 1. And the most recent track 10 off of 2022's Get Rolling, Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing?
Can't even hear it without laughing.
The question I have, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I've got to ask it because it's in my notes to ask. Based on the 10 songs we have put together, do we have a listenable record?
I think if all I listened to was that record, I would say yes.
Yeah, I agree. It may not be one that gets replayed ever again in my collection,
and I'm gonna need about a decade before I give it a shot.
100%.
That's especially now. I'm going to need a lot. Or I'm going to need to borrow some of their mushrooms, one of the two.
Yeah, why not both? Let's wait 10 years, do some shrooms, and listen to some Nickelback.
All right, let's book it.
Oh God, as we sit here in September 7th, 2035. Mark your calendars, listeners.
Listen to Nickelback and tripping balls.
Listen, Labor Day weekend, Colorado 2035 fantasy football draft. Book it.
Done. Say less.
Now the serious question. Do we take the shrooms before or after the draft?
During.
Well, yeah, they take like a half hour to kick in, right? Like
with 100 Clark pick of the 27th NEDN draft.
I choose Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. Great pick.
Welcome to the failures, TJ. Who's your mama?
Championship team right there.
And that would be the first edition of what I guess we will continue to call for the time being Greatest Shits, where we will take the discography of a horrible band and boil it down to one possibly listened to album. It wasn't great, but I had fun, boys.
I had fun.
In all the right and wrong ways. Yeah. And dear listeners, if you had fun with the idea and would like to hear us continue the concept, we have some more ideas, but let us know where you're at just by hitting us up across all the socials. We're at Fairly Kickass on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and the TikToks. Of course, we mentioned the fairlykickass.com where this ride-along playlist will live. It's up to you whether or not you want to do the shrooms when you listen to it, but you know, we're not here to judge.
We're not here to judge. Totally optional.
I think that's all we do is judge.
That's true. That is very true.
We do, but not our listeners. We judge the music we listen to. We judge the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But if, you know.
And I can honestly, I've said this before because we've done like guilty pleasure episodes. Like if you truly like enjoy Nickelback music, don't let this, you know, I don't know, turn you against us. Like you like what you like, and I like that for you. But goddamn,
I don't like what you like, and I can't go with you. That's basically it. You will take that bus solo.
But the three of us know, and every listener knows, like we all have those artists and those songs that like everyone else turns their nose up to. That's part of the fun, you know. That's part of the fun of being a fan of music, is defending your love for something that everyone else hates.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you love Nickelback, ring us up and tell us why.
If you're still listening at this point, give us a call and tell us why.
Tell us why. Operators are standing by. Ted is standing by.
Ted is always standing by. How about this is how we remind you this episode is over?
Jeez.